The hidden pull, the secret to destroying a person. Have you ever noticed that you're always busy, yet still can't make enough money to cover your living expenses? Your peers, who didn't start with any better circumstances than you, seem to live comfortably. You want to change, but reality keeps dragging you back to where you started, and you feel increasingly helpless. So, where does the problem lie? A professor of mine once said in a lecture, "The path to moving forward is always narrow and difficult, while the path to turning back is always wide open." The process of striving is like climbing a pyramid. The higher you go, the steeper and narrower it gets. The lower you go, the wider it becomes. When you decide to move forward, countless forces will pull you down. These forces, whether visible or invisible, I'll call the hidden pull from lower-class influences. There was once a popular question on social media: why can poverty be generational? In the comments, two real-life stories stood out. One person shared, their father joined the military at 16. He left his rural hometown and served in the army. In his youth, he rose to the rank of deputy battalion commander. But at the peak of his promising future, he returned to his village because his grandmother said, "There's no one to tend the fields." Following her advice, he went back to farming. Another anonymous user recounted, they were so poor they couldn't afford college tuition. They were unexpectedly switched to a computer science major. After graduating, they passed the online screening for a major tech company. But when called for an in-person interview, they gave up because they couldn't afford the bus ticket. Their family advised them to take a government job, paying a few $100s a month. Years later, the friends who interviewed with them were living comfortably, while they were still in a small town, scraping by and paying off a mortgage. When you have a chance to rise above hardship, the first ones to hold you back aren't strangers, it's your own family. When you want to move to a big city, they advise you to settle down and get married instead of chasing far-off dreams. When you want to switch to a more promising career, they don't support you, saying your current job is already stable. When you want to start a business, they oppose it, citing the high risks. It's not that they don't want the best for you. It's that their perspective is limited. The Atlantic once published an article describing it like this: you're standing on a ladder tied to a bungee cord with the other end attached to your parents. If they're on a higher rung than you, when you slip, their cord will pull you back up. But if they're on a lower rung, when you try to climb, they'll pull you down. So, if you come from a modest background, understand this. Your family's advice will mostly pull you back to their level or just slightly above. If you don't strive to break these chains, your life will be a slightly better version of theirs. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to follow the channel for more insights about money and to help you achieve financial freedom quickly. Think Billion X channel welcomes you all. Reading. Elevate your mindset to break free from the pull. There are 5 levels of reading. Reading for entertainment. Reading traditional books. Reading books of value. Reading books that expand your horizons. Developing your own system of thinking and curating a new reading list based on that system. The depth of your reading reflects the depth of your thinking. In the age of the internet, we can easily access information with a few clicks, from entertaining stories to sensational news and short-term courses. To ease your anxiety about knowledge, your phone knows what you like, and algorithms deliver the information you need. Humans have become pets of the internet, living in a room, waiting for their owner to bring everything to them. The ability to focus has become a challenge, and distraction is the new epidemic of our time. Have you noticed that the time you can focus on thinking is getting shorter? How long has it been since you read an entire book, watched a full documentary, or wrote an essay? Immersing yourself in fragmented information, you gradually lose your ability to think deeply and grow. Indulging in convenience, you'll remain stuck at the bottom of society. There's a saying, you are what you read. In other words, The information you consume shapes who you become. Don't let the internet hijack your time and attention. Build a habit of reading books to avoid becoming a puppet of information and a dumping ground for fast consumption culture. Work. Don't let colleagues drag you down. A survey by The Economist uncovered an unusual principle. Over the past 30 years, the working hours of the middle and lower classes have significantly decreased, while those of the wealthy and elite have increased by over 50%. Billionaires work more than 65 hours a week. The wealthy believe the essence of work is to create value for themselves, so they consistently improve their skills. In contrast, the poor often think work is about creating value for their boss, so slacking off becomes their strongest weapon to resist capitalism. Over time, slacking off at work becomes a kind of righteous mindset. Those who work hard are labeled as fools and mocked. When he was young, Charles Schwab, the chairman of a major company, worked at a construction firm. His colleagues often complained about the exhausting work, low pay, and did the bare minimum. Meanwhile, Schwab was full of enthusiasm. He resolved to become an outstanding employee, worked diligently, and taught himself architecture after hours. Despite being mocked by his colleagues, Schwab maintained his passion. 8 years later, he was promoted to chief engineer, and at just 25, he became the company's CEO. Meanwhile, the colleagues who mocked him were either fired or remained in the same positions. At work, there will always be people who slack off, are lazy, and try to drag you down to their level. I advise you to steer clear of such people. An economics professor once said, "People always work for themselves. If you avoid responsibility, the job will eventually eliminate you." Avoid negative thinking. Don't fall into self-pity. A well-known blogger once said, "Social stratification is becoming increasingly stark, gradually turning into a self-fulfilling prophecy." Around us, many people are working hard, studying, and striving to build wealth and advance their social status. Meanwhile, others only complain that social mobility is frozen, that they have no future, and that everything is holding them back. They surrender to negativity, resentment, and apathy. As a result, their lives get worse and worse. You've surely met people like this. When they see the wealthy showing off, they resent. Life isn't fair. When they fail, they blame society's injustices. When a colleague gets promoted, they speculate about their ethics. They blame society and others to comfort themselves, but in the end, they fall into a cycle of self-pity, losing the ability to save themselves. A psychologist once divided people into two value groups, the weak-minded and the strong-minded. Those with a weak mindset often ask, "Why do I have to go through this?" and blame their circumstances. In contrast, those with a strong mindset ask, "Why am I in this situation?" and seek answers within themselves. Take the example of a successful entrepreneur who grew up as a farmer's child. Despite failing college entrance exams multiple times, he never gave up. Eventually, he was accepted into a prestigious university and became a successful entrepreneur. Philosopher Emerson once wrote, "If the mountain won't come to you, you must go to the mountain." Differences in background, talent, and resources are inevitable, but complaints won't help. Only action can create change. When you stop complaining and start asking yourself questions, that's when you take a step up to a higher level of awareness. Dopamine, the trap of instant gratification. Let me share a story to illustrate how destructive dopamine can be. In biology, there's a famous rat experiment. A rat was connected to an electrode, and every time it pressed a button, an electric current stimulated its brain, creating a feeling of euphoria. Instead of avoiding the current, the rat pressed the button more and more. Within just 12 hours, it pressed the button 7,000 times and died shortly after. The electrode stimulated the rat's pleasure center, trapping it in a cycle of euphoria. Don't laugh at the rat too quickly. We're not much better. We know fast food isn't healthy, but can't resist it. We know social media is addictive, but can't stop scrolling. A single internet cable, a food delivery call, or countless short videos can all bring instant joy. But all these instant gratifications will ultimately harm you. Behind the fleeting satisfaction lies an endless void. The wealthy and elite often prefer enriching leisure activities, physical training, reading, and learning. Meanwhile, those in lower classes tend to favor depleting forms of entertainment, gambling, gaming, or binge-watching TV shows. Never let yourself become that rat, frantically trapped in society's web. Shallow pleasures only require indulgence, while intellectual joy requires discipline. Reading books might feel dry, but each dedicated night will make knowledge and wisdom a part of you. Training might be grueling, but every drop of sweat will build a stronger body. Dopamine offers brief moments of happiness, but the lasting joy from endorphins will sweeten your entire life after relentless effort. The hidden pull: family, environment, and time. If you look closely, the core factors limiting your growth often stem from your family and personal environment. These are a combination of internal and external forces interacting with each other. Philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "In life, you must handle three relationships well: your relationship with the world, your relationship with others, and your relationship with yourself." In reality, your relationship with the world is a reflection of your relationship with yourself. This internal relationship is often shaped in childhood, as your subconscious is molded by your parents and family. This influences how you perceive the world. How you see yourself is how you'll see the world. For example, most people think of work as a trade. They assume they're trading their time with their boss, colleagues, and clients. But in truth, your entire life is a transaction with yourself. When you work hard, is it really just about earning a bonus or better benefits? At its core, the greatest gain is your own personal growth. As an ancient saying goes, if you work and don't succeed, the fault isn't with others, it's with you. In society, every relationship is ultimately a relationship between you and yourself. When you change your awareness, your worldview changes too. You could say your family is your starting point, greatly influencing your style and direction later in life. For instance, why do coastal cities often have stronger economies? They have flat terrain, abundant water resources, and can support agriculture and fishing, attracting large populations. Additionally, good transportation infrastructure facilitates trade, boosting economic growth. A large population and strong economy improve education and healthcare services, attracting even more talent and resources. This is the Matthew effect in economics. The strong get stronger. The same applies to people. A strong family, education, and mindset significantly influence your early life decisions. However, unlike cities, humans have the ability to self-reflect and change. They can relocate, refresh their mindset, and upgrade themselves. This ability partly depends on the environment and the information you absorb. For example, a student earns a high-level language certification but doesn't use it after graduating. 10 years later, their thinking level might regress to that of a high schooler. Conversely, someone who speaks English poorly but moves abroad and doesn't live in their native community might end up with better English skills than those with a high-level certification. The environment has a deeper, longer-lasting impact than university education. It shapes your mindset and lifestyle. A new mindset changes your circumstances, and in turn, your circumstances reshape your mindset. This process is inevitable. This is also why many young people leave their hometowns for the city. The shock of a new environment disrupts their awareness and mindset, sometimes even shattering their former sense of pride. Beyond the constraints of relationships and environment, time is the most equitable factor everyone faces. But how many people truly recognize the value of time in youth? Many people enter society with passion and determination to build a career. But after a few years of grinding, they realize that no matter how hard they work, once they reach the middle tier, the path to advancement becomes increasingly difficult. Their responsibilities grow heavier. Children, mortgages, car payments, all need to be covered each month. On the surface, they might appear successful, but inside, they feel their lives are bound by societal rules and expectations. Breaking free from these constraints is incredibly hard, and for their entire lives, they might only achieve slightly more than their parents' generation. That's why, to live well, you must learn to manage your time and energy. These are your most valuable assets. Labor is trading your time and energy for money. But if you overdo it, it becomes depletion and exploitation. This is why many young people today reject excessive competition at work. Often, the time and energy you invest are only serving someone else's dream. We all understand this theory, but there are still reasons we can't live the life we want. That's because we don't seek change from internal motivation. Self-reflection. Elevate your awareness to change. To truly change, you need the ability to self-assess and elevate your awareness. Ultimately, what distinguishes one person from another is their awareness of an issue and their understanding of their field. Only when you truly understand the world and grasp its underlying principles can you achieve real progress. The best way to elevate your awareness is to practice self-reflection. So what is self-reflection? Self-reflection is analyzing the causes behind outcomes and adjusting your initial assumptions. Typically, when we work, we make assumptions, take actions, and get results. The self-reflection process involves observing phenomena, examining your initial assumptions, reflecting, and adjusting those assumptions. We can only grow by continuously reflecting on past experiences, extracting their essence, and using them as lessons for the future. In the learning process, self-reflection not only helps us identify gaps in our knowledge and fosters the creation of new knowledge, but also allows us to evaluate whether that new knowledge has been applied effectively. Start practicing self-reflection now. Begin by examining the small details in your life more closely. Then, turn real-life situations into lessons for yourself. Daily life offers countless raw experiences. Our judgments are based on experience, and effective experience comes from reflecting on those judgments. Finally, maintain a habit of keeping a self-reflection journal. When writing a self-reflection journal, don't just record outcomes. Also note your emotions, thought processes, and plans for improvement. Answer questions like, did I think about my goals at the time? If so, what were they? Were the factors I considered reasonable? Did I overlook anything? Recording your thought process provides a rich source of material for learning and growth. The longer you do this, the more profound patterns you'll notice. Because personal growth and behavioral change often stem from self-reflection and focusing on yourself, helping you break free from the cycle of being increasingly busy and poor. Avoid depletion. Don't help blindly. Sometimes we try to be good people, helping those around us, but we don't realize we're depleting our time and energy. There are two factors to consider when deciding whether to help someone. Don't help if it violates your principles or if you're unable to help. Distinguish between issues others should solve themselves and those where you need to step in. Focus. Avoid multitasking to boost efficiency. The co-founder of a major investment fund, transitioning from a researcher at a large tech company to the investment field, once shared, in his youth he tried to multitask, but found himself stuck at a low level. He later realized the best approach was to focus on completing one task at a time. A study from MIT shows that the human brain's capacity for simultaneous processing is very limited. When multitasking, not only do we fail to do more, but we also reduce efficiency and are more prone to errors due to constantly switching between tasks. It's like learning a language. Many people with exceptional linguistic talent can master English, German, and Spanish. When asked about their secret, they often emphasize consistent practice. Meanwhile, others get easily distracted by watching foreign language films without focusing on a specific learning goal. Conclusion: persistence and self-reflection are key. In summary, persistence in pursuing a goal and practicing self-reflection are the keys to personal growth, understanding principles, and making steady progress on your journey. The reality is, this world is fair. The path to success rarely has shortcuts. As long as you set a learning goal and persist over the long term, you'll see clear, distinct results. Many people glorify quick success, believing they can find shortcuts others can't see, instead of staying calm and steadily improving themselves. But without real effort, no method will work. It's just a waste of time. Building relationships. Choose your companions wisely. In love and marriage, many wonder, should I choose someone I love or someone who loves me? When applying this question of friendships, it becomes, what kind of people should we befriend? I once read a saying, knowing others is wisdom. Knowing yourself is enlightenment. A wise person must have deep knowledge and a broader perspective than most. They often have these traits. Wise people excel at thinking, analyzing deeply, and understanding the essence of phenomena. They have vast knowledge and experience, often offering valuable insights and suggestions. Wise people are patient. They listen to others' needs and perspectives without rushing to share their opinions. When you surround yourself with wise people, you can learn from their thought processes and problem-solving approaches, both in work and life, helping you grow and develop quickly. As President Woodrow Wilson once said, I not only use my own intelligence, but also strive to use the intelligence of others. What holds us back is often not others, but our own blind and stubborn ego. The one who can help us is none other than ourselves. There's a saying I love. The most tempting choices are often not opportunities from God, but challenges from the devil. On the path forward, we'll face countless choices. Fight back or defend, comfort or struggle, stick to the old or change. My advice is, when faced with choices, always pick the hardest path, because the easy roads often lead downhill. Due to time constraints, I'll end the video here. I share free knowledge on how to become wealthy, an entrepreneur, an investor, and achieve financial freedom. If you don't want to miss out, please follow my channel, turn on notifications, and share this video freely. I sincerely wish everyone who liked this video achieves financial freedom soon. As long as you find one or two helpful quotes in this video that improve your life, I'm already fulfilled.